Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, your dependable source for crucial updates on the evolving landscape of global currency revaluations. As of the current date, in the USA, a moment is unfolding that could redefine everything dinar and don investors have anticipated. Based on the latest briefing from analyst Frank26, it has been confirmed, not speculated or suggested, that the revaluation rates for the Iraqi dinar, IQD, and Vietnamese don, VND, have been officially locked in. But what does this confirmation mean for investors like you? What should you do next, and which potential pitfalls must you avoid? In this in-depth segment, we unpack the developments taking place behind closed doors and why this may be the most decisive chapter yet in your revaluation journey. Frank26, a prominent voice in the currency community, has recently shifted from speculation to declarations grounded in confirmed activity. His latest statements reveal that both Iraq and Vietnam have met the necessary internal and international benchmarks to advance their currencies into a revaluation-ready position. On Iraq's side, the groundwork has involved enhancing oil exports, tackling systemic corruption, opening critical trade routes, and finalizing internal price structures. One significant development is Iraq's reported trial use of a unified exchange rate with the US dollar, a major indicator of operational readiness. This isn't just about internal reform, it's a signal to the global community that Iraq is preparing to step back onto the international monetary stage with legitimacy and control. Meanwhile, Vietnam has been advancing in its own way. Known for its powerful manufacturing base and increasing foreign investments, the country has deliberately kept the dong undervalued for competitive trade purposes. According to Frank26, this deliberate suppression is being phased out. Updated information suggests Vietnamese banking networks have retooled their back-end systems to reflect a more honest valuation of the currency. If this intelligence is correct, the VND is already being recalibrated behind the scenes, meaning execution has moved beyond discussion and into system integration. The role of the system manager. But what does it mean when someone says the rates are finalized? Frank clarifies that these new IQD and VND rates are currently housed within secured global banking infrastructures. These values aren't visible to the general public or on standard Forex boards just yet. Instead, they exist as internal, restricted use figures accessible only to specific financial institutions, a common process when introducing significant currency changes. The aim is to let central banks and partnered nations align their responses without igniting chaos across markets. Although invisible to retail traders, these rates are real, confirmed, and simply awaiting what Frank refers to as the green light, a coordinated trigger to make them publicly active. That trigger could hinge on multiple factors: shifts in political leadership, oil price thresholds, or high-level financial meetings. Regardless of what sets it off, Iraq and Vietnam are, according to Frank, aligned with global bodies like the IMF to initiate this change in a measured, strategic way. Frank also mentions the possibility of a dual-rate structure, where the internal value remains distinct from the global rate, to stabilize national economies during the early stages of the rollout. This tactic could provide a buffer for local markets while opening up new avenues for international exchange. More than technical compliance, Frank insists this revaluation is about rebuilding trust. Both Iraq and Vietnam have spent years reforming institutions, enhancing transparency, and earning the respect of global financial authorities. Iraq's central banking system has been upgraded, and Vietnam has climbed in international competitiveness. These shifts are not just cosmetic, they're deliberate moves to lay the foundation for a stable, long-term monetary reset. A compelling indicator, according to Frank, is Iraq's budgetary documentation, which allegedly operates around a 10.4 IQD to USD valuation. Public infrastructure contracts, employee compensation, and governmental agreements are reportedly being executed using this figure. That means the new rate isn't just proposed, it's already being used in practice. Vietnam, on the other hand, continues to post gains in trade surplus and attracts strong levels of foreign investment. further substantiating the idea that its national currency is poised for a leap in value. As we continue this coverage from Iraqi Dinar News, Frank advises watching for a staggered unveiling rather than a sudden, global splash. The updated rates may first appear in smaller financial arenas before hitting major U.S. exchanges. This phased approach is designed to prevent transactional congestion and allow key financial players to adjust to the new values. In fact, Frank asserts that select international contracts, particularly those tied to oil, construction, and infrastructure, are already being signed and executed at the revised rates. These contracts lend weight to the idea that revaluation isn't theoretical. It's already being practiced by institutions with the power to move markets. So, what actions should you take as a currency holder right now? According to Frank, the answer lies in patience and preparation. There will be no dramatic announcement with sirens and flashing headlines. The process is deliberate, aimed at stability rather than spectacle. Savvy investors are encouraged to monitor official financial communications and refrain from reacting to online rumors or third-party intel. Frank repeatedly stresses that genuine information will come from established sources, not shadowy insiders promising secret deals. A critical piece to monitor is Iraq's federal budget. Several leaks suggest that government disbursements and national project allocations are being calculated using the 1:0.4 ratio. Meanwhile, Vietnam continues to show positive economic indicators, specifically rising foreign capital and consistent export growth. These facts suggest both governments are already moving as though their currencies have increased in value, even if those rates aren't reflected on public trading platforms yet. Frank believes this isn't coincidental. Rather, it's the logical result of coordinated international strategy. Establishing faith in a new currency value isn't just an accounting matter, it's a diplomatic and psychological challenge. Market participants need to trust that the new valuation is sustainable and backed by institutional discipline. According to Frank26, both Iraq and Vietnam have earned that trust. Their collaboration with major entities like the IMF and World Bank, along with focused internal reforms, has demonstrated their commitment to long-term economic integrity. As we move forward with this report from Iraqi Dinar News, let's explore what could unfold immediately after the official revaluation rates are released to the public. According to Frank26, the first 48 to 72 hours following activation will be marked by rapid movements in the foreign exchange markets. Traders will act swiftly, recalibrating positions. Banks will begin updating account values, and some systems may experience delays due to the sheer volume of transactions being processed simultaneously. This is standard behavior during significant financial transitions. Temporary volatility should be expected, but the critical factor will be how quickly central banks respond. With clear, measured communication, Frank is confident that with proper coordination, the markets will stabilize quickly. At the same time, Frank delivers a stark warning. The excitement surrounding large currency revaluations often invites bad actors. Scammers prey on hopeful investors during windows of uncertainty. He strongly advises against engaging with any individual or platform that claims to offer private banker deals, VIP exchange rates, or fast-track access to cash-outs. These schemes typically request your currency or personal data up front and disappear without a trace. Frank emphasizes using only major secure banking institutions with clearly established protocols. Be certain your digital information is protected with proper encryption, and avoid handing over dinar or dong to anyone outside of official financial environments. This event is not just monetary, it's a cybersecurity moment. Awareness and caution could make the difference between gain and loss. A frequently asked question in the community is whether the United States government will officially acknowledge these updated rates. According to Frank26, once a rate goes live on the global Forex networks, it is automatically integrated into systems used by institutions such as the U.S. Treasury, national banks, and financial tracking software. These are not hidden or backdoor arrangements, they become part of public economic infrastructure. No insider access will be necessary. The systems are designed to reflect such changes in real time, and you'll see the rates through mainstream banking apps and financial portals as soon as they are implemented. Beyond investor implications, Frank takes a broader humanitarian view. A stronger dinar and dong could mean more than personal windfalls. It could bring relief to everyday citizens in Iraq and Vietnam. Improved exchange rates have the potential to reduce import costs, elevate the purchasing power of local populations, and restore financial dignity in nations that have long been held back by instability. Frank sees this not just as a transactional moment, but as an opportunity for global economic justice. Countries that have been undervalued politically and economically for decades now have a chance to reclaim a seat at the table, with currencies that more accurately reflect their contributions to global markets. For investors, one of the most important steps now is preparation. Frank urges every holder to finalize their personal exit plan. Know in advance how much you intend to exchange, where you'll do it, what legal or tax obligations may apply, and how you'll manage the resulting funds. This isn't a time to make spontaneous decisions. The moment will come quickly, and those without a structured response could lose time, opportunities, or worse, fall into traps. Being mentally and logistically ready is key. As Frank puts it, success isn't just about how long you held on, it's about how well you act when the moment arrives. There's also the matter of taxation. While Frank is not a tax attorney, he consistently recommends seeking out professional guidance before exchanging any amount. Depending on your country of residence and how long you've held the currency, your exchange might be subject to capital gains taxes or other reporting requirements. The last thing an investor needs is to be blindsided by legal obligations after a major financial shift. Being proactive, documenting your holdings, and speaking with a certified financial advisor will help you navigate these areas with clarity. Frank26 also highlights another often overlooked aspect: emotional discipline. When the revaluation goes live, the media may flood the airwaves with opinions, speculations, and even conflicting interpretations. It will be easy to get caught up in the emotion of the moment, either rushing into action or freezing in uncertainty. Frank encourages calm, strategic thinking. Don't be pushed by hype or pressured by others. The best decisions will come from those who've anticipated the moment and acted with intention, not impulse. Looking ahead, the global impact of these revaluations could be significant. A stronger Iraqi dinar could reposition Iraq as a formidable economic player in the Middle East, leveraging its oil wealth with a currency that finally reflects its real value. Vietnam, meanwhile, may see its currency strength mirrored by even higher levels of international investment, cementing its place as a rising force in the global supply chain. For decades, both countries have operated beneath their actual financial potential. This shift could correct that imbalance and usher in a new era of fiscal equality. And yet, even with all these positive indicators, Frank continues to caution against complacency. Revaluation is not a guarantee of overnight riches. It is a complex, evolving process with multiple phases. Rates may fluctuate before stabilizing. Procedures may vary by country and by institution. Documentation requirements may change quickly. Patience, clarity, and preparation will remain essential. To wrap up, Frank26 leaves viewers with a simple but powerful message. The rates are finalized, the systems are ready, the window is approaching. What happens next will depend on your ability to act wisely, avoid distractions, and stay focused. For those who've waited years, this could be the defining financial moment of their lives. But that moment will only reward those who are ready, not just in expectation, but in execution. At Iraqi Dinar News, we will continue to bring you verified information, smart guidance, and calm analysis through every phase of this journey. Make sure you're subscribed and alerts are enabled so you never miss an important update. The revaluation may not be far off, but readiness is everything. Stay informed, stay disciplined, and most of all, stay ready.